The point to this video that I was actually trying to get across is that I feel like a lot of people look at Bali as this unachievable kind of thing. Like, I can't go to Bali because it looks so expensive, because every YouTuber who has a fucking drone makes it look like this super glamorous rock star type of place. It looks like it's basically like Ibiza in fucking Asia. So I think it intimidates people to want to go because they feel like I need a lot of money if I'm gonna go to Bali. And I kind of just wanted to sort of like crush that and be like, no, you can go to Bali on a budget. Hey guys, and welcome back to Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is your girl Shamika, and if you're new here, welcome. Just to let you know, I upload my travel topic videos on the weekdays and my free talk and my story time videos on the weekends. So if you're interested, please hit that subscribe button. Welcome back to another Bali video. In today's video, I want to talk about the cost of living in Bali. And keep in mind, I was only in Bali for a couple of months, so I don't have like a real in-depth like view. Like, I wasn't there for years and I haven't been there for long periods of time like I've been in Chiang Mai, but I do have like a rough estimate on what I think it costs to live in Bali. One of the difference between Bali and Chiang Mai is that the cost of living can jump drastically. I feel like Bali can go from 600 to 5,000 in like a minute. Like, it doesn't take a lot for expenses to start to pile on, depending on what you're into. And that's always sort of the message here. It really depends on the lifestyle that you are looking for. If you just want to go on a short holiday in Bali, then yeah, you want to probably just blow your money and just live like a rock star. If you're trying to stay long term or live and relocate in Bali, then there's definitely ways that you can live there on a budget. Like in Chiang Mai, like, you would have to really be fucking trying. I didn't have to swear. You would really have to be trying to spend $5,000. Like, you are throwing your money away basically, because like, it's hard to go from like the comfortable minimum living in Chiang Mai is like 600, right? It'll be hard to go from 600 to 5,000. Like, you have to live, like, you have to be just being really dumb with your money. And Bali, it would take nothing to spend that much money. The things that make a Bali expensive, I mentioned in my last video, is the alcohol. It costs money to go out and drink and party. The drinks are just as expensive as LA or just in the Western countries. They're not Southeast Asian prices for drinks. So if you're someone who wants to go out and drink all the time and party all the time, your bill can triple really fast. Like, I would just say, like, if you're gonna go out on a weekend, just add another $1,000 to like your budget. Like, it's expensive. Like I said, for like a small beer, it's like $7, and for a cocktail, depending on the size it is, it's from like $11 to $14 for a cocktail. So it's expensive to drink. Those are basically like LA prices. That's how much you would spend in LA. It's not even like a big beer. It's like a small little beer, and it's like the cheap beer. It's like the beer that no one really wants to drink. And then another thing that will basically bring up your price is shopping. Like, in Thailand, you can shop for pretty cheap unless you're shopping at malls or American or Western brands like H&M, or even more expensive brands like Chanel or something like that. But if you're just going to shop at the local places, it's actually fairly cheap to shop. Like, you can buy some pants, some harem pants, and a shirt for like $4. Like, it's really inexpensive to shop here, and you can find clothes at the markets all the time and cute little things. In Canggu Bali, there weren't markets. There were markets once in a while, and they'll have like these sort of holiday festival sort of type of markets, but they were not markets like Chiang Mai. Like, Chiang Mai is known for markets. So there's markets every night, all the time, everywhere in Chiang Mai. There weren't markets like that in Canggu. It was just boutique stores. This mainly all you saw was boutique stores. Again, it looked like the streets of like Santa Monica or Venice Beach, where all these little cute little boutique stores and they all like sold clothes that were sort of like what you see people in LA wearing, like a mixture between like really laid back beach clothes, but it's still kind of sexy, and slinky dresses and stuff like that, and stuff for boys too. But in like really low drops, like wrap dresses, like things that like looked like they're probably simple to make, but like looked really like kind of glamorous on. I don't know. It was just like boutiques everywhere, stores everywhere, and the prices were American prices. They were not Southeast Asian prices. They were not Asian prices. They were American prices. So you were walking out spending a couple of $100 in clothes, or $100 in clothes, or whatever, $80, $70 in clothes. You were not spending, you were going to spend some money. The swimsuits were really expensive, $100 and stuff for swimsuits. And if you're coming from America, or if you're coming from Europe, that wouldn't be a sticker shock to you, because you're like, okay, I'm used to paying these prices anyway. But if you're traveling through Southeast Asia and you think Bali is going to have the same prices for clothing as Thailand or Laos or Vietnam or whatever, you're going to be shocked, because it's not. It's American prices. So if you are someone who goes out and drink all the time, if you're someone who likes to go shopping, like I said in my other video, people in Canggu, when they go out, they dress up. Like, they're trying to impress, they're trying to look good, they're trying to look sexy. It's not that sort of natural, laid-back bohemian thing. It has a bohemian vibe, but you can tell people put a lot into what they look like, and they want to look nice, they want to impress, they want to fit in, they want to look cool, whatever. And so if you fall into that pressure and you want to like fit in, and you start going shopping a lot, then again, just add another $1,000 or so to your budget, because it can go up quite quickly if you're shopping all the time. If you're going out to drink all the time, it can go up quite quickly. So those are the two things that can really add to your budget, that can really get you to start spending more money, is going out to party, drinking, and shopping, which is something that a lot of people like to do when they go on a holiday or when they travel. I'd say another thing is like food. Food isn't like terribly expensive, but the difference between local cuisine and the Western food is drastically different. There's a big money gap in between. So I forget how you call it. It's like either rupee or ringgit or something like that. And so, like, basically, if you go into a Western restaurant, and when I say Western again, I don't mean like pizzas and burgers and hot dogs. I mean like smoothie bowls and vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, whole wheat food, all the good stuff that I love, because I like that. I love those type of foods because I like to eat, I like food, but I also like to stay healthy. And so if you went to a typical Western restaurant in Canggu, the cheapest thing on the menu would be like 40 something rupee or ringgit, or just say 40 something, which is kind of like $4 to $5 American dollars, I believe. You know, if you go into a typical Western restaurant in Canggu, it would be like $4 to $5. That's like the cheapest thing on the menu. Like, if you are on a budget and you still want to eat with all your friends, you don't want to be embarrassed, like, the cheapest thing is going to be $4 to $5. Again, if you're coming right from America, if you're coming right from Europe, that might be nothing to you. But if you live in places like Chiang Mai, where a meal is like $1, $5 it can seem like a jump, and that's the cheapest thing on the menu. The medium price, the general price, is like $7 to $10, and then like you can probably walk out spending $20 if you get a meal, you get something to drink, you get an appetizer or something like that. You can end up spending like $20 at a Western restaurant. Now, if you're thinking about a local restaurant, a local Balinese restaurant, you can get a meal for $1. So that's like a general price, $1, $50, $2. That's a general price. That's not the cheapest thing on the menu. So that's the difference, and it's a big jump in price. So if you eat at a Western restaurant every single day, and you're eating there 2-3 times a day, 7 days a week, you can see how your budget, how it can add more money to your budget quite quickly. Versus if you eat at a local Balinese restaurant, it can keep your budget quite low. So again, it really depends what type of travel experience you want, what you want to do when you're traveling, and when it comes to what budget you want to have in mind when you go to Bali. Cost of living, again, like, you can find places here in Chiang Mai for less than $100 to $100. That is not like a large amount of places. You can't find a whole bunch of places that's that price, but you can find places that are that price. And then I would say like the general price of living in Chiang Mai would be like $200, $250, $280. Easy, you can find a place for that much, $300. If you want to live like a king, you can pay $600 for a penthouse or something like here in Chiang Mai. Okay, $600 would buy you just a regular, get your regular old place in Bali. But I say, like, if you are patient and if you are searching and really looking, because I did this myself because I was curious about if you can, what kind of places you can find in Canggu. You can find places for about $200. That is the cheapest. You're not going to find it anywhere, in my experience anyway, that's $100 for a month. It's like, it looks impossible to me. I asked around, looked around, searched like all the time in my spare time. You're not gonna find anywhere for $100 like you'll find here in Chiang Mai, but you can find something. The cheapest I saw was like $200, but you gotta look. You gotta really look. You gotta really search, and then like, I feel like the general price was like $280, $300, and up. And so you can find something that was over $200, $300 easy, but then you also run into a lot of $500, $600, $800, depending on, again, what you're looking for. And the $200 places that I found weren't actually bad. They weren't like in the ghetto or run down or anything. The places that I found for that price were actually on Airbnb. And what a lot of people who told me, the foreigners who were living in Chiang Mai, was like, a lot of times, because it didn't seem like that straightforward to find an apartment in Canggu like it is in Chiang Mai, which I will do a video on how to find a place in Chiang Mai. If someone requested it, I will do it. What a lot of people do is either stay in guest houses or they go on Airbnb. They stay at Airbnb for like a week or whatever, and then they contact the owner and then they make a deal with them. And they were like, that's the best way to get a really good deal on a good place here in Bali, is just contact the owner and be like, hey, I'm gonna be here for a month, can we make a deal? And so I found places that were like $200 on Airbnb, looking and being patient and waiting. And then I felt like, well, I guess you can stay there and then just contact the owner and see if you can get it for another price. And maybe especially during low season or something like that, where it's not as much business. The place that I was staying was a co-working guest house, and it had a shared kitchen and a shared like eating sitting area. It was kind of like a courtyard that divided, that went through the middle. The kitchen was at the end, and then there were single rooms on either side, like studios, like one room and an attached bathroom. And people were paying a little over $200 to $300 for those rooms. I was staying in a dorm, which was only like me and one other person, so it was fine, and that was like $100 a month. So people were staying in those rooms for like over $200 to $300, and that's actually, it wasn't that bad. It was actually a nice location, and again, it was just a studio, but it was a nice size studio. It had a wardrobe, a bed, a side table, and a full bath without the bathtub, just like a shower and a sink and a toilet. And then it had a shared kitchen so you can cook and stuff like that, and a nice location. So I think that's actually not a bad price. And it also had a co-working space, so you can go and work online if you're a digital nomad and stuff like that. So like I said, you can find places for $200, but I saw like the general price was like over $200 or $300, and then you can easily find places that were $500, $600 and up. Again, depending on where you want to stay. If you want to live like a rock star and copy all those like Australians you see on YouTube with the drones going over their villas, that's going to cost you way more money. So just, if you want to stay living like that, then yeah, add another $1,000. By the way, a lot of those YouTubers will not tell you that they're like staying with like 10 other people, and that's why they can afford that. Or some people, they have enough subscribers and stuff like that, so they can get like a discount because they're promoting that villa. Just a little inside secret. So that's the cost of living. I hope this makes sense. In my head it doesn't, but I'm hoping it's coming out of my mouth like it makes sense. If you want transportation, there is Uber and Grab, but Uber and Grab is quite new in Bali, and so a lot of the taxi drivers, just like it happened in America, are not liking Uber and not liking Grab, and they will, like, I've heard stories like they would literally get out of the car and try to fight like the Uber driver. It didn't happen when I was there, but I heard stories. So there are areas in Bali that Ubers and Grabs can't go, and just like an advice on the side, sometimes you get picked up by Uber and you get dropped off like an hour away, and you don't realize they can drop you off, but they can't pick you up, and then you're just stuck there, and then you have to pay like out of the ass to get a regular taxi back. So just make sure when you're taking an Uber or a Grab in Bali, wherever they're dropping you off, they can also pick you up. And if they can't, just know that you're gonna have to take a regular taxi. There is the local version of Uber, which is called Gojek, which is actually cheaper than Uber and Grab. So just download the Gojek app and save yourself a headache. So it can be fairly inexpensive to travel through Bali if you're using Uber, Grab, or Gojek. Now, if you want to rent a bike, I pay like $5 the couple times I did rent a bike, but I heard that it's like $50 a month on a cheaper end to rent a bike. So let's say $100 a month, because it's different prices in different areas. Like I think it's more expensive to rent a bike in Canggu and less expensive to rent a bike in Ubud. And it's funny how Ubud is seen as the more, like, everyone talks about Ubud when you go on YouTube, but Ubud is actually cheaper than Canggu. And this is another thing when it comes to the cost of living. You don't necessarily have to stay in the city. Like, you don't have to stay right in Ubud. You don't have to stay right in Canggu. You don't have to stay right in the hot spots where it's popular, because of course it's going to be more expensive. You can stay a little bit out of the city where the locals are staying, or where, like, in the rice fields, or sort of like in where it's not near a city, because like all the cities are quite easy to get to. So if you stayed a little bit outside the city and paid less and just got a motorbike, it would be easy to just get back into the city. So you don't have to stay right in where all the action is. But again, it always depends on what you want to do and stuff like that. Other than that, like, everything else is fairly cheap. The things that brings up your price is always the same thing, which is partying and shopping and luxuries. It's the same thing. It's just like in Canggu, they're just more, in Bali, they're just more expensive. Those luxuries are more expensive than they are in Thailand or Vietnam or Cambodia or Laos and stuff like that. The point to this video that I was actually trying to get across, and I don't know if I am, tell me in the comment section below if I am, is that I feel like a lot of people look at Bali as this unachievable kind of thing. Like, I can't go to Bali because it looks so expensive, because every YouTuber who has a fucking drone makes it look like this super glamorous rock star type of place. It looks like it's basically like Ibiza in fucking Asia. So I think it intimidates people to want to go, because they feel like I need a lot of money if I'm going to go to Bali. And I kind of just wanted to sort of like crush that and be like, no, you can go to Bali on a budget. I would say, like, I'm more liberal when it comes to telling people a budget, because I am really good at knowing how to, like, use my money, and other people aren't, and so people may not be comfortable with my budget. So, like, I stayed in Bali for $600 each month, $1,200 altogether, give or take here and there, I'm not really sure, but I would say the minimum budget for most people might be, for most people to feel comfortable and happy and enjoying life, is maybe $800. So I would say $800 to like $5,000. It really depends on what you're doing. If you're just going to Bali for a holiday and it's just gonna be like a quick holiday, a week or couple of weeks, I say live it up. I say save your money, save up the couple of thousand, and just go to Bali and just live it up, because it is kind of one of those places where you can have so much fun and kind of live the little bit of a rock star sort of lifestyle and just be really cool and happy and free. And you might not want to think about budget. You might not want to think about how much money you have. So I think if you're going for a short holiday, it's worth saving the money so you don't have to think about budget. So you can sort of live what you've seen on YouTube, so you can stay at the villas and stuff like that. Now, if you are if you're like me, you're someone who's looking to stay in Bali long term, you're someone who's looking to live or relocate in Bali, then it is possible to do that on a cheaper budget. And I always think that it is actually a lot more easier to save money when you are a long-term traveler, because you learn what's cheap, what's expensive, what you can get, what you can afford, and what makes you happy and what doesn't. Like, for instance, like, I went to the laundry while I was in Canggu, and it was the first time I've ever had anyone do this, and there was a lot of places that did this, so it wasn't just this one laundry place. And they basically price per piece, so they would price per pair of jeans, per pair of shorts, per pair of pants, per shirt, per underwear. Like every little thing you washed, it would have a different cost. And my total came up to like $8. And I don't know why I thought this was a good deal, but at the time I was like, oh, that's not bad, you know, $8 is a good deal. And I was like all proud of myself, like I got a good deal. And then like a couple of days later, because I just sort of explored Canggu, I found like 3 other places that was a fraction of that price and did the exact same thing. So it really goes to, like, when you're a long-term traveler, you find those things, you find those deals, you find those better places, you find all those things. And so I think it is a lot easier to live on or travel on a budget when you are a long-term traveler. So I just want to give people, like, sort of let people know, like, if you want to go to Bali and you want to do it on a budget, it's possible. I would say $800, you can still live a happy, healthy, wonderful life. Like, I did 600, and let's say I went out pretty much at least every Saturday. Like, one day out of the weekend I went out. So I went out every weekend. I would eat. For the first 2 weeks I only ate at Western restaurants, only because like I kept hearing this rumor that like Bali food makes you sick and all this stuff, but it doesn't. It's fine. So after the 2 weeks of being in Bali, I would eat at Western restaurants pretty much on the weekends, and I would eat at local places on the weekdays. And if you watch my other video, it doesn't really matter because all the food is good, so you're not like suffering because you're not eating like a smoothie bowl every day. So going out every weekend, eating Western food that I loved, it was delicious on the weekends, eating local food on the weekdays. I only rented motorbikes when I needed it because everything was walking distance. I stayed in a hostel while I was there, but it was just me and one other girl, and I stayed at the co-working really cool guest house that was in a really good location. And I kind of just did whatever I wanted. I went to the beach whenever I wanted. I did what I wanted. I had a night, like, it wasn't like I was suffering and I wasn't having any fun and it wasn't like that. Like, I did what I wanted to do. When I went out, I didn't buy my own drinks. You know, I bought a drink one time and it was $14 fucking. I never even paid that much for ever. I've never paid $14 ever for a drink. Not in Vegas, not in LA. That's crazy. Someone else has for me, but I didn't. So one time, so I did me. Like, I lived my life. And I did it on $600. Now other people might be like, no, that's not enough for me. I need to do more. I need to do this. I need to do that. I want to go shopping. I want to drink all the time. And then you need a higher budget. It is really all about how you want to live and how what you're into and stuff like that. So again, I would say a comfortable minimum budget, because you're not me, and I understand you're not me. Comfort is different for other people. Uncomfortable minimum budget, and I say this is more for people who want to stay there more long term and be more settled. I would say $800. Now, if you want to live it up, lap it up, you're there for a short time, you just want to party and have fun, I would say $800 to a few thousand to $5,000. It really depends on how you want your vacation, your holiday to be while you're in Bali. That is the end of the video. I really hope that helped. I know it wasn't like super structured, like cost of living, this and this and this and this. I'm not doing any more super structured videos like that anyway, because take a lot of time, work, and they're boring to me. I just want to talk like I'm talking to my friends, and hopefully it's coming out articulate. I hope that helped. If you guys do have any other questions about cost of living, or how I lived, or anything in particular, if you didn't understand or got anything that I said in this video, please just ask me in a comment section below, and I will eventually get to that. I know sometimes I'm really bad at the comments. I do have a full-time job. I am doing other things, but I will answer the questions. So if you have any questions, put in a comment section below. Again, Bali is possible. It's the same thing with Japan. Because I know like Japan has a reputation of being really expensive, so I think it scares people away from going to Japan because they're like, oh, it's too expensive, I can't go there. But I've met people who live in Japan and they're like, no, there's parts of Japan that's beautiful and amazing that are very much affordable. When you think Japan, you just think Tokyo. But I understand wanting to travel the way you want to travel. And so if Tokyo or Japan is a place that you always wanted to go and you want to do Tokyo, then you have to do it the way you're comfortable, and maybe you do have to save more money. But Tokyo is still possible. I mean, Japan is still possible. You might not be able to just live it up in Tokyo. You know what I mean? There's different ways to do each country. Even if you need a little bit more money. That's the point in this video I was trying to get across, is that yes, things are expensive, but you're still able to do Bali on a budget. Not as cheap as, you know, Cambodia, Laos, or Thailand, but still on a budget. Anyway, I'm talking too much, so leave any comments in the comment section below. Like this video if you want to like it, and if you want to hear more videos of me talking about my travels and tips and tricks and advice, story times, free talks, or whatever, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, please hit that bell, the notification bell, to get notifications when I do upload. And thank you. I feel like I'm rambling. Oh my god. Thank you guys from Live, Love, Life, and Travel.